Guys, I hope you are having a wonderful day. It's Stacy here with Life's a Project. Welcome to my channel where I like to share my everyday life projects with you. So today's project is planting some Blue Lake bush beans into my garden space here in one of my raised bed containers. But first, I thought I'd share with you what's been going on in these two containers that I planted up in past videos. You can see the blue vase kale that I started from seed indoors, and I transplanted these seedlings out into the garden space, and they're doing well. I planted a row of radishes, and they are doing great. And around these two obelisks, I planted some sugar snap peas, and for the most part, they all have germinated except for a few. And then I did another row of these cherry radishes about a week later. And then down here are some red Russian kale plants that I also started from seed indoors. And you may notice that this plant looks larger, but it is two plants in one space. Now I should thin it out, and I mentioned doing that when I first planted it up, but I thought, I want to just let it grow. I've never done that before, just to see what happens. This is also a red Russian kale plant, but for some reason it does look a whole lot different than the other ones here, and they were in the same pack of seeds. So who knows, I'll just let it keep on growing. And in this container over here, I have some lettuce and spinach growing that I started from seed. And in a past video, I showed you how I applied this summer weight fabric. It's a garden cover to cover the lettuce to kind of protect it from pests and things like bugs as the season goes on. So I would not have to use, sprays and things. Now, there are a lot of good sprays out there, organic ones, if you need to use those. I also tinted the whole thing, putting pieces of wood. These are contractor shims that you can buy in a pack, pretty inexpensive. And then I kind of secured the fabric using these binder clips. So everything seems to be working out really well. So guys, I did have to show you how great this container looks with the cover off, so you can see. Look at this lettuce, how beautiful that it looks. I kind of alternated the different colors of lettuce. These are, 8 different types in here. I think there's 7 different types and one like gourmet mix of different types of lettuces. And then I did 2 rows here of spinach, and it looks so beautiful. It looks perfect. So you can see by having the cover on, we did get some rain last night, so you can see some water on the leaves. So it does get the water that it needs and the sunlight that it needs with the cover on. So this lettuce I did sow really densely in here, and I did not thin out the seedlings. I just let it grow, and you can see it's growing up over top of this container. So I will be harvesting really soon, and I'm just really excited how this container is looking and is doing. So my plan is to just do a kind of cut and come again with this lettuce bed. Just let the leaves grow, harvest some off for my salads, leaving that root in place, and the leaves will continue to grow. So I hope you enjoyed that update. Now back to today's project of planting some bush beans in this container. So my plan for this container is to do a little succession planting in the center here with the bush beans, and planting up a couple of square feet at a time so that I can continually get a harvest. Now on each end where I have these obelisks, I plan to grow some cucumbers up the trellis and down over the side. So I hope that all of this will turn out and the cucumbers won't block out the sun from getting to the beans here planted in the middle. So in this container, I think the best way to plant the beans is with the square foot gardening method. And pretty much all that is kind of sectioning off your garden space in square feet. So you can see here, I have sectioned it off 8 squares, so 8 square feet of planting space in this container that measures 2 foot by 4 foot. So I've just used my finger making the lines in the soil, just kind of eyeballed it, and then I'll be able to plant my beans in a couple of squares, and then 2 weeks later a couple of more squares, and then in the container over there I can do, a couple of more squares 2 weeks later. So every 2 weeks, doing a planting of beans so I get a continual harvest. On each end, I have a couple of squares for my cucumbers. So keep everything in their own spot so they're happy and growing healthy. So I have here some organic Blue Lake bush beans. It says 55 days to harvest, so fairly quickly. On the back here, just planting instructions. You can pre-soak your beans if you want to. I'll just plant mine and water them in really well. They'll germinate 6 to 8 days. Plant them about 1 inch deep. And these do like the warm weather, so you want to plant them out after your last frost date. Here in Kentucky, I'm a zone 6, and I am past my last frost date. So here are the seeds. They are large, easy to work with. So for the square foot gardening method, you need to plant 9 seeds per square. So the easiest way to do that is 3 rows of 3. So as I'm laying these out, before I press them in 1 inch and cover them up, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between bush beans and pole beans. So these bush beans will grow 1 to 2 feet tall. They do not need a trellis, and they usually produce all of their beans all at one time. You'll get a large harvest, and then about a week later you can get a smaller harvest, but after that they're pretty much done. So that is the reason you want to kind of plant some up, wait a couple of weeks, plant some more, wait a couple of weeks, plant some more, if you want to continue the harvest. Now with pole beans, they're a little different. They will grow all throughout the season, producing those beans. They just keep on producing, and you need to trellis them because they grow really tall. So I hope that kind of answers any questions you have about the difference between bush beans and pole beans. So now it's time to plant up my second square. And again, I'm just going to lay out my beans here, 3 rows of 3 to equal 9 beans per square foot. And like I said, you will get faster germination if you want to pre-soak your beans, say for a few hours before planting, but they will germinate still, just planting them straight out of the package. So once I lay my beans out, again, you just want to take your finger and press them into the soil 1 inch, and then I'll just cover them up lightly, and then I can just press the soil lightly so that the soil has good contact with the seeds. And then I can add my tag, and it's so important to add a tag with the date so you know when you did your planting, just in case in a couple of weeks you get no germination, you know that something is wrong, because these should germinate in 6 to 8 days. So my beans are planted, now it's time to water it in. Now just make sure to keep the soil nice and moist until the seeds germinate. I do not want the soil to dry out. So guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful to you and you learned something new. If you have any questions or comments, place them down in the comment section below. I hope you will subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future projects or project updates. So I thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.